Today's episode is presented by LodeStar, the fee experts.
Hi everyone, my name's Alayna Gardner and we're at the Digital Mortgage Conference this week for LodeStar's Lending Leaders. We're so excited. I have 4 guests for you this week and we're going to ask them 5 different questions. They're all going to have different answers, so we're doing a little bit different format. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment if you want to see more of this. And if we're at a conference that you're going to be at in the future, we are recording these at every conference that I will be at this fall, which includes our next conference will be Housing Wire Annual, and then also we'll be recording it MBA Annual. So we're really excited about that. So without further ado, our lovely conference guests.
What are the most important changes to the mortgage origination process in the last 20 years? How about the last 2, given how much the pandemic changed this?
So, over the last 20 years, I've only been in the industry for 10, so I can't speak to before that. I do understand that, well, especially with technology, everything back in the day was all paper. It was just paper pushing, and I feel that over the last 20 years, with the adoption of technology, it doesn't just make things faster and easier to convert. Like obviously the conversion rate has gone up, but I think that just being able to engage with your consumers when they're sitting at home and like when they feel comfortable, when they have time, has changed just the relationship between borrowers rather, and their lenders. Over the last 2 years, we've definitely seen obviously a spike in automation. I work at a company that does automation. It's the number one talking point at this point. And just when we were in a market last year where homes were going off the market or off of the shelf in 2 hours, you need to be able to approve a loan very, very quickly. So I think we'll see automation continue to improve over time. I think there's going to be a lot more exciting vendors in the space. So yeah, I think just watching things go from brick and mortar, paper pushing to I get a loan approved in 2 minutes is impressive.
I think in the last 20, going paperless. I've been in the industry for 13 years, and right when I started was when people were still telling tales of massive loan packages and underwriters picking them off the cart as it came through the operations center. So I think the paperless aspect has just changed everything. Allowed underwriters to be remote, allowed documents to be exchanged more easily. And I think in the last 2 years, I think with the pandemic, it's forced everybody to figure out how do you still reach your borrowers, and how do you take a loan application, how do you get a hold of potential contacts, leads, clients, referrals without being able to see somebody in person. And it's forced a lot of people, I think, to adopt different technology they wouldn't have otherwise, and I've been surprised to see the folks that have stuck with it aren't always the ones you think would adopt, but it's been good.
And I might be biased when I say this, but borrower-facing technology, because with the technology, a lot of the easy stuff is the borrower can do. It doesn't have to have that like air of mystery about it, that you have to talk to a loan officer. Borrowers have the ability to do a lot of what needs to be done to get a loan originated, and it doesn't make sense to only have a very small group of people able to do it.
Long-term changes, I think, would be the digital revolution of the mortgage industry, right? Like a lot of us going back, we're used to that paper application, that paper loan file, and now we're doing remote e-closes. So that is just tremendous.
What, in your opinion, are the best aspects about technology's role in the mortgage industry? What are the worst?
I think the best aspect is that it allows people, teams, borrowers, customers, vendors to connect easily 24/7. It's made it so that that we have the flexibility of not having the standard necessarily working hours. You can easily work with different borrowers in different states, and as a vendor, I can work with different people all over the country very easily through the different technology. I think the worst part of the technology is that it's taken some of the human touch out of it. I think buying a home is such a huge part of anybody's life, such a huge financial investment. There is definitely something to be said for that person-to-person connection, and technology has made it easy to not have to do that in person anymore.
The best is we can do our job from anywhere at any time, right? Which is also probably the worst. Which I think we can all relate to.
Yes.
Oh man, the worst, I'm gonna start with that one.
Okay.
The worst is adoption. Nobody wants to do it. Everyone's like, nope, the old way's better. I don't want to learn something new. I don't care how good it could possibly be. I don't believe it. I'm better without the technology. That's to me the worst part of it, is nobody wants to do it. The best part of it is making people better at their jobs. There's no such thing as a replacement for people. It's an enhancement. You know, giving people the ability to do way more loans than they could have done before. Sounds like a gimmick, but it's one of those, do you want to make more money by closing more loans? That's the best part of it.
Best aspects
Yes.
are that with all of the automation and the technology that exists today, lenders now have the ability to spend the time that they need on the things that matter the most. They are not wasting time with trying to look up underwriting guidelines and, you know, trying to figure out the best ways to locate borrowers and locate the right realtors to work with. They're now focusing time on actually fostering the relationships that they need to with their borrowers, fostering the relationships that they need to with their realtors and their business partners, and they are able to do that with having all of these technology companies that allow them to have a better stream of communication with those individuals. And I think the worst is just people are getting sloppy, a little lazy. I think that, you know, I came from a compliance background, so I really care about like regulations, and I really care about obviously making sure that we are taking care of the borrower. And I think that when you have technology that kind of loosens your focus, it just allows you to be more sloppy.
Are there any aspects of the loan origination process that technology is never ultimately going to change or shouldn't change?
I find a hard time believing that the closing process is going to change as much as people want it to. I think I've seen a lot of vendors in the space try and fail at e-close, at multiple different e-close parts of that process. Obviously, like the notary issues are very difficult because you have different regulations in every single county and every single state, and you can't do a RON, you can't do a remote online notarization the way that you want it to. And I just think that with all of the, unless things change at the federal level, we're never going to be able to achieve what we want to there.
I'm going to go with loan decisioning. So even today here at this conference, we do see automated underwriting and a lot of technology being thrown at probably our most expensive resource when doing a loan, which is great. I think that should continue. But at the end of the day, you're still going to need a human at the other end of that computer screen to really look at the loan as a whole instead of just data points.
No.
I was going to say the appraisal piece of a human or a somebody in a house. Even if they're using technology, right? Like they've got the iPad and they're scanning the room. It's not an appraiser. It's just, you know, somebody from the team that can go out. I can't imagine that will ever go away completely. Maybe we'll find ways that there's little robots or ways to make it easier. The borrower could do it. But I think there'll always have to at least be some sort of human touch if we want to continue to evaluate some of the collateral in person.
How do you think industry-wide gatherings, especially those that focus on technology and new solutions, affect the role of technology in the mortgage industry?
It's good to get together and kind of exchange all of what everyone's doing. You know, you come up with good ideas watching people's demos. Like, oh, I never thought of approaching it from that direction. So it's really good just to see what other people are doing, because you're going to get stuck into, obviously, like the group think of your own company, and everyone's going to have similar views. When you can see how everyone else is doing it, gives you the opportunity to get some new ideas into your own product.
I think for me, it's great to connect with other vendors and potential partners because it is such a complex ecosystem of this mortgage origination land that we work in. And it's going to take all of us together to make sure our solutions are integrated, to make sure we're thinking about the end user, the borrower, serving our mutual customers together to make a cohesive experience. So I think that's what I love these events for, is that you're able to work with other like-minded vendors and other potential partnerships to help the end customer.
I think it's good to see competition. It's good to see healthy competition because you have to remember that at the end of the day, there are other people trying to do exactly what you're doing. There are other companies that are finding different ways to consider themselves the outlier, beating the competition. And I like listening to what people are saying in their booths. I like seeing the demos. I like hearing all of the keynote speakers just because it challenges us. It wants us to do better. It makes us want to do better. And I think it's just good to see also who you can partner with. Hearing more about other technology companies that I may have never heard of and understanding, oh, there's a partnership opportunity there, or we should be doing things like they're doing.
It definitely augments the role of technology in the industry. We're all here together connecting, a bit ironically in this, globalized world. We're all remote and digital. We can connect with anyone at any time, but when we all are here together, I think it really, putting faces to names and processes and all of that, really just goes to show how important it is to have good technology and quality people behind the technology, or else it's useless.
What are your go-to conference survival tips? Comfy shoes? Pocket snacks?
Always have a bottle of water.
My go-to conference survival tip: say hello to everyone.
I like it.
The end. Handshake. I'm Joe. How you doing?
Flats. Don't wear heels. They can bring them. You might want them the first day, but always have an option for comfortable footwear.
Survival tip: water. Drink a lot of water. You have to drink a lot of water. I like bringing like emergencies, and liquid IVs are very important. Have a change of shoes, and just be very smiley and friendly with people. I think you feel more approachable if you look approachable, like you're actually smiling at people. Try to have fun.
Thank you for listening to the LodeStar's Lending Leaders podcast. Please like, subscribe, and rate us 5 stars anywhere you get your podcasts. A special thank you to the LodeStar podcast production team, Jim Paolino, Tim Austin, and John Gardner.